Hello, people. We are going to have a good show today. We're going to talk about a man's moral compass. He's been out the last couple of days attacking a certain person. We're going to bring that person on. But this isn't going to be your typical show. There's some things that people are not talking about when it comes to Anthony Arillotta. So we're going to talk about those things today. And it's going to have to do with the man's moral compass and kind of criminal stuff that he was doing, but in a moral compass type of way. And you'll see what I mean. When I heard this stuff, it was pretty sad, actually. It gives you an idea of who this man is. And with that, I'm going to bring on Chicky. Chicky, how you doing? Introduce yourself real quick.
Lee, thank you for having me. I'm Chicky Cecchetelli. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, and Chicky has a very interesting story, and we'll do that separate. We'll have a separate interesting story of Chicky, but we're going to get right to the point and talk about Anthony Arillotta. Now, Anthony Arillotta, the last couple of days have been making a lot of claims toward Chicky, and he says that Chicky was irrelevant, but yet here's a leader of a family that for 2 days in a row has attacked a man that is irrelevant. So Chicky, you've been being attacked for the last couple of days, and a lot of things have been said. Do you think Anthony Arillotta is the type of guy that should be attacking anybody?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And let me just answer you, absolutely not. And then you can lead where you want to go.
Okay. And now you knew this guy for a long time, right?
His whole life, since probably 7, 8 years old.
Okay. So he was pretty much making you look like a bumbling fool yesterday.
Yeah.
Like that you just answered phones, that you really were nothing. And he made statements after statements. And we're going to talk about some of those statements.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you point blank, Chicky.
Yep.
Have you ever been a rat?
If you go on Angel Gotti's show, my lawyer came on. My brother's girlfriend.
I'm asking you. Have you ever been a rat?
100% not. 100%. Okay.
Okay. So, okay. And is there any documentation out there that says you were a rat?
100% not.
Are there any 302s that say you're a rat?
100% not.
Okay. Was your brother a rat?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now there's a thing going around saying that your brother was wearing a wire.
Yes.
And you were caught on the wire trying to.
No. I'm sorry. I wasn't caught on the wire. He was talking about me on a wire.
Okay. He was talking about you on a wire. And it basically said that he wanted that you were pushing him that you owed $5,000 and that you were pushing him.
No, I'm sorry, Lee.
Let me finish. I'm telling you what was said last night, Chicky. Let me say what was said last night.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So you owed $5,000. I'm telling you what's coming out of Anthony.
Okay, that's fine. All right, go ahead.
And that you wanted your brother to get people convicted that you owed money to before the beginning of the month.
Right.
And that it was caught on the wire and it got out there. Is that true?
First of all my paperwork's out there. Nothing got caught on the wire. My brother my brother's 10 years older than me, Lee. He's been following me his whole life. I know he went on shows and said, I looked up to him. I'll handle my own personal family business on my own. I don't go on YouTube. But anybody that knows me, real street people, real guys that I talk to every day, they know how my brother was. And it's completely false. They took advantage of a junkie who, as we speak, is in rehab right now. This is his 5th time in 6 months. But that's neither here or there. But go ahead.
Right. Okay. And were you, was your job just answering phones pretty much, sitting next to 85-year-old men?
No. First of all, you got to understand something.
Let me finish, Chicky. Now, and along with that, and once again, I'm delivering a message to you that was said by this.
That's fine. Go ahead, Lee. Anything you want to ask.
Okay. So he said that you were just a guy to answer the phone. You sat next to old people that could have done a better job with you. You were lousy you were lousy doing the job.
Right.
And you were no bookmaker. And
nope.
And that you were just a nobody hanging around gangsters.
Right.
Okay.
Well, first of all, let me say something quick. I must have been an incredible nobody because he hasn't stopped abusing me in the last 3 months. For a mini guinea mob boss to keep abusing me for the past 3 months on every form he's went on, I couldn't have just been a nobody because why would he even pay me any mind at all? But that's neither here or there. First of all, I didn't work for Anthony Arillotta. I only worked for Anthony Arillotta a year. I worked for Al Bruno. Okay. And this is public knowledge. It's not me being a big shot. It's not me talking. Google me. It comes up everything. I was working for Al Bruno. Bruno was murdered November 23rd, 2003. Okay. I only worked for Arillotta for about a year after that when he took over the book when Bruno was murdered. And I went to jail in 2006 along with Anthony Arillotta and a lot of other good guys. We were indicted, me, Bruno, Arillotta, and another kid.
Okay.
Bruno obviously was dead, so he was an unindicted co-defendant. He died. He got killed by Anthony's words. But anyways,
Hey,
he set it up.
Let's stop 1 second.
Go ahead.
Then we'll get back to where you're talking. So
Go
just
ahead,
to
I'm sorry.
be clear, Arillotta paid this guy named Roach $10,000 to kill Bruno.
And the funny part is they didn't even pay him the 10,000. They promised him 10,000. They only gave him 5,000. They didn't even pay him the 10,000.
Okay, so he kills Bruno. This guy that kills him, he didn't exactly do a lot of time either for the killing.
Well, he was the first one that opened up, and he was a junkie, miscreant, all of them things.
And that's when everything started tumbling down. Is when he was busted and started giving names himself. Is that
yes,
correct?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we got that part. Just that's how the Bruno, because there's so many tails in this story. It's pretty
exactly. I understand.
Okay, so now you have this guy, and I'm going to bring this up, people, and okay, and I'm going to get right back to what we were talking about. There's something I want to bring up here because I got to show it, but I'm going to take it down real quick, and I'll put it up when I'm ready. Okay, so he's saying this. You're saying that you had a lot more on the street. How much did you have on the street as a bookie?
I'm sorry, Lee, repeat that. I'm sorry.
How much did you have on the street as a bookie?
Well, I pleaded. I'm just going to say what I pleaded guilty to, and that's way off. But I pleaded guilty to booking $3 million a month.
Okay, and they accepted that plea.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so right there, kind of proves he's a liar, doesn't it?
Exactly, but let's go from where you're going to go.
That's in your indictment?
He's in my indictment. He was a co-defendant with my indictment. So for a nobody, he's my number one co-defendant.
Okay. And so who else was in that indictment along with Arillotta?
Al Bruno, who got murdered. So he was an unindicted co-defendant. And another kid I don't want to mention because he's a nice kid and he's a working kid and he's out of that life now. He was a gentleman.
Okay. And so here's some other things that he said about you. He said,
anything you want to ask.
He said you were jumped by a midget. And that
let me explain that little story. Because remember that movie with Eminem?
Let me finish. Let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So he said you were jumped by a midget and that you had your chain taken and they got it on video.
That's fine.
Okay. So explain exactly what happened, not his
version. 100%, because on YouTube, you got to tell the truth because it always comes back to haunt you. In 2018, I was living with my nephew, and I'm not going to get into my nephew. You can Google him and see who he is. He was a serious guy. And I came home at 11 o'clock at night to our residence from going out with a girl. And when I came to our residence, I walked up to the front door, and I always carried a lot of money on me. I mean, it is what it is. I carried $4,000 or $5,000 at a time on me. And it was probably an inside job. I'm not going to lie to you. And I always wore big gold chains. That's me. I'm sorry. So what happened was I came up and our security camera was running in the house.
Well, people, we just lost him. Let's hope he jumps back in here. Okay. That's some of the things that happens when you're doing this business. So we're going to hope that he jumps right back in here. Let me give him a call. Okay, 1 second. Oh my Lord. Oh, okay. Well, dude, man, we're in the middle of a show. Come on. No, we just come on in, please. Okay, someone called his phone while we were doing the interview, and he's back right now. Okay, Chicky.
I apologize. Somebody called the phone. I tried to hang up. Thank you, but go ahead.
Okay, so finish what you were talking about, please.
So, anyways, make a long story short, I was walking into the house. A guy, a Spanish kid, probably like 22, popped out of the bushes. He sprayed me with mace. Okay. He tried to wrestle me on the front steps of my house. He couldn't do nothing. He tried to go in my pocket. I rolled to the side so his hand would get stuck on the cement of the steps. I punched him in the face 3-4 times. He couldn't do nothing to me. So if the video does go out there, I'm proud of it because you'll see I defended myself. And at the time, I was 100 pounds heavier. I was a heavy guy. I've always been a heavy guy. And I fought the kid off. And at the end of the day, he knew he couldn't get money from me. And you will never hear the audio. They'll show the video, but they won't hear the audio. The audio is I'm screaming to somebody that was in my house at the time, get the gun, let the pit bulls out. Because believe me, and I'm not a big shot, I'm a gentleman. But if I would have had the gun, if somebody would have handed me a gun, I would have shot the kid right in the head. But that's neither here or there. I'm not like that. But to make a long story short, the kid couldn't rob my money. I punched him in the face on the video. So if he shows it, that's fine. And he ripped my chain off and ran away. And that was it. But I'm not, hey, listen, I'm not a big shot.
Okay, so
fights I won.
Okay, Chicky. So it was one of those incidents where you lost your chain, you got it snatched. It's happened to him.
100%. And can I mention one other incident that he's bragging about? Another 7 years ago, MGM had just opened in Springfield, Massachusetts, MGM Casino. And make a long story short, it just had opened. It was like open 2 weeks. So me and the guys from the club went to MGM. We spent all night drinking and partying and playing, card games and blackjack and whatever. And I was in the club the next day sleeping. I was a heavy guy. And I'm sleeping in the club, and my friends would bust chops, and they would go in my pocket and grab money or try to grab my cell phone. And they made a video of it. And that's another video he's threatening to put out there, which he can put it out there. That's fine. It just makes me look like I'm sleeping during the day at the club from the MGM, 10 hours the night before, staying up all night drinking.
Okay,
so
Chicky.
This is what he's doing to me.
Okay, Chicky. So you have to understand, Chicky, he'll show those videos because he's a rat. So anything that he could do to rat on somebody, he's going to do.
100%.
And we're going to get into him being a rat.
Yeah, and I got something else. I mean, you lead it, but I'm going to tell you about my probation officer today. But keep going.
1 minute. Okay. So let's get back to Arillotta.
Okay.
Now Arillotta, he was a married man, wasn't he?
He was what?
He was a married man, wasn't he?
He was a married man.
Okay. So do you know his first wife?
I'm not going to mention her name, but she was a sweetheart of a girl, and she's married to another guy now who's a gentleman of a guy who's doing the right thing and taking care of his family as well as her.
Chicky, do you know her?
Sweetheart of a girl.
Okay, that's all you. Okay. So when did he meet her? Arillotta. When did Arillotta meet his first wife?
Where did he meet her? Okay, I was with him when he seen her for the first time. We were down the Italian club. The Italian feast. They were having the Italian feast in front of the club. And I was driving a Cadillac at the time, a big Cadillac back in the day. And he was my passenger. It was only me and him. And he seen her walk by the Italian coffee shop, La Fiorentina. And she was 14 years old. And she was a beautiful girl. But she was somebody's daughter, 14 years old.
And how old was he?
He said,
Chicky, how old was he when he seen that 14-year-old girl?
We had to be probably roughly 22, 23, 24, right in that range.
Did he know right away how old she was?
We all knew. She was a young girl, beautiful young little girl. And he looked at her and he said, "Hey, honey," and he caught her attention. And he, I'm not going to lie, back in the day, he was a young little face, mini Kenny. He was a good looking kid. And of course, she smiled and waved. But that was the first meeting in front of La Fiorentina in Springfield, Mass.
Okay. And he eventually hooked up as a 22-year-old man with this 14-year-old girl.
Maybe older than that, 23, 24.
Okay.
And she might have been 14. I'll give her a little respect, maybe 15.
Right.
And I used to go over her in-laws, his in-laws' house, which was her parents. Nice people, working people from Italy. They spoke the brogue, Italy brogue. They were nice people, and they would invite him over to eat dinner. And charismate, whatever that word is, charismate.
Right.
I'm sorry, I maybe said the word wrong, but they would invite him over at night, and I was there many times, and we'd eat dinner, and the father would sing opera and get drunk with the mother, and then they would go to bed and think their daughter was safe in the cellar with him, but I would go home, but she wasn't really safe with him.
Okay, so here you got a 23-year-old man. He's pretty much taking advantage of a 14-year-old girl.
Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. 15.
15 at the most. The fact is, did he eventually marry this woman?
He married her. He got her pregnant. He got her pregnant with his first son.
Chicky, how old was she when he got her pregnant?
Probably in her 15s or very top 16 years old. He married her at 16. He married her at 16, but she was pregnant, I think, at 15. 15, 16, no higher than that. That's guaranteed. I can get his marriage license.
Would you consider him a predator?
He's an unindicted child molester. That's what he is. Unindicted child molester that were accepted by the community because who his status was at that time.
And did the community talk about this girl being so young?
I'm sorry, say that again, Lee.
Did the community talk about this girl being so young?
Well, you gotta understand. I know it's a sick world we live in, but he was an up and comer. He was around real people. So if they did, it was behind closed doors. They're not going to say it to him.
Okay, and then he had issues with her. Didn't he move on to another young girl after that?
Well, when he was married, he had several relationships. He has two stripper girlfriends that were from the Mardi Gras, where he was essentially trying to take over that club. But he had two more stripper girlfriends that he had kids with, that that he to this day, along with his own kids and their kids, he don't support. So he's a deadbeat father on top of it.
And then there was another 16-year-old girl.
16, 17 tops, his sister-in-law. I went over there one day.
1 minute. The sister of the woman that he was married to.
Yes.
He was also having an affair with.
100%. And it's on record. It's on record on his court papers.
And this girl was underage also.
Definitely under 17, 18, under that for sure.
So this man is definitely could be labeled a predator.
He's an unindicted child molester.
Okay. And why do you think that, did this come up when the government pulled him in, or did the government just not care?
Well, the government actually, the strippers that he got pregnant actually called his wife when he was in jail and said, I have a kid with him. This is my guy. And the wife went crazy, because she didn't know. And I'm sure the FBI, you know how the FBI is, they pump things up. So the FBI went to the house and told the wife everything about him because they had pictures of him. They knew where he was going at night. Essentially, he was probably banging everything that could walk. That's how he was.
And then Chicky, he eventually said that one of the reasons that he ratted out his friends, okay, and let's just go, let me put this up here.
No, do whatever you got to do.
Okay. Who are these people in this picture?
Okay, in the tan sweatshirt is Anthony Arillotta.
Right.
To the left of him is my lawyer, along with Dan Hagen, Dan Kelly, great lawyers in Springfield.
Get that part.
Next to Dan Hagen, the bald guy in the black suit coat is Ty Giaz in the brown shirt. Next to Ty Giaz is another lawyer for the Giazes. And then in the blue shirt, looking in the audience, is Freddie Giaz, who everyone knows allegedly murdered Wayne Bulger.
Okay, so these guys, Chicky,
yep,
they're cold-blooded killers.
Stone cold killers, and they were in his inner circle, and they loved him, and they would have done anything for him.
Okay, and they were his friends, like you said, and
dear friends.
And eventually, the FBI kept going to Freddie Giaz and asked him if he wanted to turn and rat. Freddie refused to rat.
Well, when Freddie was in Hampden County House of Correction, I had court office. I'm sorry, jail guards that were friends of ours, Italian kids, that used to say, FBI is coming they used to tell me years and years ago, the FBI is coming to Freddie G that's Freddie, right?
Yes.
The FBI is coming to Freddie G every single day, Lee, and they want him to talk to the FBI. Now, he met him a couple of times because he thought there was a visit. He didn't know. And then he told the jail guard that was a friend of ours that grew up with us. I ain't going to mention his name. They were two brothers, good kids. And Freddie said, next time the FBI comes, don't come get me, because I'll start a fucking war. Don't come get me.
So here you got this man, Freddie, who eventually became infamous for the killing of, well, supposedly, he's not guilty of it yet, of killing Whitey Bulger.
Allegedly, him and Paulie
Yes.
DiColanchero, real good guys, and I hope they beat that case.
Okay, so I just wanted to show that those are now these are friends. These
Yes.
guys are refusing to rat on Anthony Arillotta.
100%.
Okay, so Anthony Arillotta decides that he's going to rat, and one of his excuses is because he has to take care of his children. He doesn't know. Did he take care of his children after he got free?
Well, let's be honest, and like I said, this is public knowledge. His son lives with him, Anthony Jr., gentleman of a kid, nice kid. He works. He hasn't talked to his son that lives in the same house as him in 2 years. His daughters probably haven't talked to him since probably 2010. And he could have seen his daughters. I know the man who's a gentleman of a man who married his ex-wife. And he owns a barber shop in Springfield. He owns one in East Long. He owns two barbershops. Very well off, a nice kid. He said Anthony had called him from prison and said, I want to see my daughters. And the kid said, well, they're not your daughters. They're my daughters. I've been supporting them for 7, 8 years. If you want to see them, that's fine. I don't care about child support. Just put some money away for them to go to college and you can see them. You can cultivate a relationship with your daughters. So they took him to court to get a little bit of child support. And the kid said, I don't need the money. The kid's a millionaire that married his ex-wife. Just to show a little bit of stability that, hey, I want to see my daughters. And Anthony went to court and said to the judge, I'm not paying nothing. So that's why he hasn't seen his daughters to this date. His daughters don't even know him.
So that was just a BS excuse as a reason for him ratting.
100%. And keep in mind, Lee, the kid's a multimillionaire. There's no excuse. There's no bullshitting. He was a multimillionaire before he was a mobster, and he's a multimillionaire today. He don't even have to work. He got off probation a couple years ago, maybe a year ago. He hasn't worked since. He don't have to work. He's a multimillionaire. That's a fact. Okay. So for him not to give $300 a month to see his daughters, what kind of guy is he?
And so let's lay out the facts we've come up with so far. Okay, he basically got a 15-year-old girl pregnant, married her. Then he went after the pregnant woman's sister, who was 16 years old.
100%.
And then after that, he also impregnated 2 strippers.
100%.
And so he had 3 kids at this point floating around. Wasn't paying child support.
Not a nickel.
And went to prison. And one of his excuses for ratting on his friends who refused to rat on him was because he wanted to be with his children. And
Lee, can I just say, I don't want to cut you off, but keep in mind, Freddie and Ty both have kids. Freddie has a daughter and a son. Alex is a gentleman. He's got a daughter. And Ty has a little daughter that's now a teenager. She's probably like 20 years old now. So essentially, he put people away that have kids that maybe on another show, I'll have you go on the show with Freddie's son, and he could tell you how it's like to talk to a father who's doing life that he speaks to once a month in the hole.
Are these fathers who are locked up in prison, are they close to their children from prison?
100%. 100%. I mean, Ty was in love with his daughter. Freddie was in love with his 2 kids. They're their kids. I mean, come on.
Okay. So, and people, this is what, this is what we talk about with these rats. They come out and say things. It's not normal for a rat to be on here, and especially a head of a family, attacking people. You don't.
Like Lee, this guy, I don't mean to cut you off.
Let me finish, Chicky.
Boss.
Chicky, let me finish. Okay. So you have this guy here, right here, and he's attacking people. You don't see Sammy Gavano doing stuff like this. You don't see Mikey Scars doing stuff like this. You don't see Michael Francis. And to think about this, people, this man was a higher ranking person than they were. He was a head of a family. And now he's on here showing up on shows that support rats. That's who this guy, but this is what this guy is doing now. Chicky, I'm very sorry to cut you off. Take it from here.
No, I just want to say, and not only this is the thing, and Lee, please let me explain this to you. Listen to me, and I'm just being honest with everything. I made a lot of mistakes in my life. I'm going to be the first to tell you. His son was working at our Italian social club back 9 years ago, whatever it was. And I used to bring the son home to his grandmother's house, okay, at the time. Okay, this is the God's honest truth. And I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't know Anthony got out of prison. He was in the doorway one time, and I brought his father home, and his son, Anthony Jr., home one day, and he opened the door, and he's like waving to me. And I didn't even know who was him, his sister, his mother, because the mother was a sweetheart of a woman. The sisters are great. They were second family to me. The mother was a second mother to me. And I know he goes on the internet. He went on Balls of City and saying, I stole money from her. I robbed. I mean, listen, I already proved from my lawyer and all paperwork I'm not a rat. They said I wasn't in the Navy. I proved that. I mean, I went on the offense on everything they said on Balls of City and before that.
We're going to get to the military in a minute. Okay. Okay. That's a separate thing. Okay. So pretty much what we're doing right here is we want to lay out Anthony Arillotta and who he is.
Okay.
And the first thing is he is a predator. If you are a man in your 20s and you are out hunting young girls and you have no care how old they are. And this is a man that didn't need to go after these young girls. This is a man that has stripper girlfriends. So it's ingrained in him to be a predator. Would you think that, Chicky?
I told you before, and I'll say it again. He's an unindicted child molester.
And didn't he kill somebody that was kind of interfering with his relationship?
He killed Gary Westerman, okay? And he said it was because the guy was a stool pigeon, which he is right. The guy was definitely an informant, but he didn't kill him because he was an informant. He killed him because Gary Westerman married his sister-in-law, who he was in love with secretly.
Oh, are you talking about the one that was a year older?
His wife's sister,
right?
Who? Let me just tell you now, is a sweetheart of a girl. She had kids. She's married, and she's living a wonderful life. I ain't going to mention her name.
Okay, so this Westerman guy, and we know that who did the killing of Westerman? Who did he send out to do the killing?
Well, I mean, it's public knowledge. It's not like I'm giving secrets. But they lured him up to an Agawam house, and of course he coerced Freddie to think the kid was a stool pigeon, which Freddie was partners with the kid on a lot of things. They used to rob trucks together. They made a lot of money together. And of course, he coerced Freddie to actually shoot the kid in the head. But what happened was up in Agawam, when they did it, they shot him with a 22 in the head. The kid lived. They shot him in the head, right close range, according to the affidavit and the FBI reports. But the kid knew he was in trouble when he got shot in the head. He didn't die. He started running, and the poor kid fell into his own hole. They dug a hole for him. He fell into his own hole. And then Anthony, Mr. Mini Guinea Big Shot Boss, ended up killing him with a spade shovel. They chopped him in the neck with a spade shovel. This is public fact. It's not like I'm not giving no secret. This is public.
So you have Anthony Arillotta there with the brothers, and
he was definitely there, and he definitely killed the guy, 100%.
And it's not what he claims. It's because he was going to marry the one the sister that he loved, the 17-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Okay. So that says a lot more.
Well, like I said, everybody can listen to his story, and he was a real deal mob boss. There's no doubt. He was a multi-millionaire.
Yes, let's forget Chicky. He's a real deal pedophile.
100.
Let's stick with
he's a real deal gangster. He's a real deal coach.
1 minute, Chicky. We're not gonna push.
All right, lead it.
We're not gonna give him any credit. If you are a predator and you're going after young girls, personally, it doesn't matter. how much money he has or what he's doing. He doesn't take care of his children.
1,000%.
And he's preying on young girls.
And he's abusing me. And not to
and now he's abusing you. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to get to your military career.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you these questions point blank, and just give me,
whatever you want to ask, Lee, I'm an open book.
Okay. Did you throw something in your face to get out of the military?
This is what sick animals they are. I joined the military February 26, 1986. I went to Great Lakes, Illinois boot camp. I was in Great Lakes, Illinois. I did boot camp and I did A school. So from February 26 to probably July or June or July of 86, I was in boot camp and A school, which I scored very high in A school. I don't know how I did it because I'm not that bright. And I want to address another thing too. They had a tryout for the SEALs where you had to swim like 6 miles, run 10 miles, do this, that. Listen to me. Everybody says, oh, Chicky pretends he's a SEAL. The only thing is I'm as big as a SEAL, but I could never be a SEAL. I couldn't even swim a mile. They're like, get out of the pool. You ain't got a shot. And I laughed and I said, hey, I salute. These SEAls are real guys. I couldn't even keep up. Go ahead.
Chicky, did you ever put up a jacket that said Navy SEAL on it? And
No. I put up an Instagram post like 7 years ago. This is with the 7 years ago.
Chicky, let me finish. You're not letting me ask the question.
Go ahead.
Okay. Did you ever put a jacket up and it was online and you wrote that it was from you the days as a Navy SEAL, and then someone spotted it?
Yep.
And you were embarrassed and you took it down.
No. Here's what happened. And then, like I said, I'm just being totally upfront. What happened was the guys from the Navy SEALs on my boat, we had 12 Navy SEALs on my boat who I became very close with. They got me a jacket, which I have hanging right here. I can show it to you. They got me a jacket. This is like not that I was a SEAL, but they got me a jacket like a commemoranza, whatever that word is. Like I was friends with them. They're like, Chicky, SEAL, whatever. And I appreciate it. They signed the back of it. I was friends with these guys. I put up a post that said, SEALs live forever. And I put up the picture of my coat that said Chicky with the Navy SEALs. I was never a Navy SEAL. I respect them guys. I couldn't even make the first 10th of what you got to do to be a Navy SEAL. So, but I'm proud that I was a regular Navy veteran, not a SEAL.
Okay. And Chicky, are you saying that the military, nobody from the military ever said to you, any of these organizations ever said to you that you're, that you shouldn't have put that jacket up?
No, nobody ever said that to me because it was very clear I was respecting them. I wasn't saying I was one. The guys, got me a coat, which I still got to this day. I don't wear it because I'm not a SEAL. But they put the SEAL thing on it and they said, Chicky, thank you for being a good guy. Whatever they said, I don't remember. But no, listen, it was bullshit. Never happened. I put up a thing saying, thank you guys. I love you. I respect you. And it's out there. I don't got nothing to hide. It's out there. So, and I'm sure on YouTube, everything stays out there. That's fine. And it is what it is. I'm proud of my own Navy career. Not that I'm a SEAL. I never was.
Now, do you think that Anthony Arillotta says this out of spite, or do you think he really thinks it?
Anthony Arillotta doesn't think this because he knows what's going on. This is his way to discredit me. On his best day as a mini Guinea mob boss, he couldn't be half the man I am. And I'm not talking about in the gangster life because he was a real gangster. He was. I'm not going to deny that. No, but I'm talking about as a father and a husband.
He was a predator. Let's not call him a gangster.
Right. He's an unindicted child molester.
That's what he is. He's not a gangster. He was preying on young girls.
And can I just say something else, Lee, for a minute?
Yes.
FBS did a show last night, and today he's doing a show an hour ago, abusing me, which is fine. That's fine. But he officially, Chris, good for you. You officially platform an unindicted child molester. So I hope you feel good about your daughter and anybody else in the chat that has a daughter that's 16 or under.
And people, just so you know, I checked into to see if he married this girl at this age. It is true. I also checked. Chicky gave me some paperwork about.
And I'll send you the marriage certificate again in case.
You got to stop cutting me off, Chicky.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So he also gave me paperwork. And people, listen, Chicky is, there's just certain people that are hard to interview. Chicky's one of them.
I'm sorry. You're right.
I'm not trying to be crazy. I'm not trying to be rude with Chicky, but we talked.
Not at all. You're a gentleman.
Yeah, we when we started this, I said to Chicky, when I want to jump in, I'm going to jump in. And I was about to give Chicky credit, and he cut me off.
I'm sorry.
So
it won't happen again.
Okay, so Chicky is he's showed his paperwork. He was in the military. He was honorably discharged. It wasn't after 9 months. He spent 3 years in the military, right, Chicky?
Almost 4. I went from February 26, 1986 to July 1st, 1989.
And as a military man, does that bother you that he is questioning your honor?
As the piece of shit he is, yes, it bothers me a lot. But like I said, I proved it. I sent paperwork to everybody I had to send it to. So everything he's saying for the last 2 months, I've combated on the offensive mode, not the defensive mode, the offensive mode. Had my lawyer on Angel. I had my brother's ex-girlfriend on Angel. I've done everything to combat this. But after this interview tonight, Lee, I got a lot of great things going. I'm done with YouTube. I mean, I'll come in chats and laugh a little bit. But I'm done with this bullshit going back and forth with these devil bastards.
Okay. And Chicky, I understand it. It's not worth getting beat up like this because you're getting beat up by a bunch of shows. Now, also, did someone, we're not going to get into why they called you, but did a group, you're being accused right now of talking to SoFlo 3 times in a month. And also talking to a group of guys yesterday from that side.
100% true. I'm sorry. I got to be honest with you. Like Angel will tell you, I'm not loyal to certain people, but I am loyal to fault. And there's times I did text SoFlo and I said, listen, bro, stop abusing this person. Stop abusing that person. You don't know the real story. And he calls me Big Dog. Big Dog. What's up, Big Dog? And it is what it is. But yesterday I got a phone call, probably about 5 after 5 at night, and it was a 4-way call. And I didn't know it at the time, but they asked me about a certain thing, which I won't mention now.
I don't want it mentioned.
I don't want to mention it because I'm not like that.
Okay.
But they asked me about a certain thing, and I said, yes, I seen it. You know, it is 100%.
Okay, forget that part.
I don't want to talk about it. But the bottom line is it ended up with a 3-minute call. FBS was on the call. I didn't know it at first. And I ended up going to war with him. Like he said something I didn't like, and shame on me. I'm sorry. I lost my mind a little bit, and I told him a little something I shouldn't have, especially being under federal probation. And we hung up on each other, and it was literally maybe a 4-minute call. So I apologize for that.
Now, also, he made statements yesterday that you were on federal probation and you're running around with felons and criminals.
And that's another thing I want to thank him for. I had a call from my probation officer at 11 o'clock this morning, and he wants to see me, I think, tomorrow. He's coming by the house tomorrow with a urine test, which he can because he's took 6 urine tests in the last 3 weeks because of informants calling my probation officer saying, check Chicky for drugs. He's a heroin addict. I'm the only 300-pound heroin addict in the country, I guess. But they keep coming, taking urine tests, and Lee, like you know, if I pop positive for even marijuana, I'd be back in Wyatt Detention Center outside Providence by tonight. So they can keep doing this. They keep calling my probation. Today, my probation said to me, I guess there's videos out there of you eating with convicted felons. Now, conveniently, Arillotta said on FBS show last night, Chicky eats every day with real guys on the street and convicted felons. Well, if I was a nobody, Mr. Guinea, Mini Guinea, my boss, if I was a nobody and I was not around and I'm a jerk off phone guy, why would real guys want to talk to me? Why would convicted felons want to be around me? If I was a rat, if I was a heroin addict, it's a joke.
Is that a concern of yours that they want to see you because you're sitting with felons?
No. I'm not sitting with felons because things I show on Instagram were from many, many months ago.
Right.
Okay. But it just goes to show you the content of the character of these people that they want to jam you up. I'm not going to get into specifics right now, but there's some couple, guys out there that are good guys I knew my whole life. And what they're doing now, it's very simple. It's a very simple process. What they're doing is with real guys out there that don't come on YouTube, because real guys wouldn't come on YouTube. They're calling, putting restraining orders on the guys on YouTube that they can't come. I'm not YouTube. I'm sorry. Guys on the street that they put restraining orders that they can't come to the club. Like, even if they wanted to come to the Italian club, they got restraining orders that if they come in the Italian club, they're going to be arrested. So that's the new 2022 mentality, which, like, Lee, you saw it. Anthony Arillotta did a podcast from our old social club over the weekend with Tom Levecki, with the other kid, Loomis, Mob Truce. So that goes to show you the state we're in Western Massachusetts. And you know what's funny, Lee? And let me just say this. I talk to real guys on the street in New York. I talk to real guys in Boston that are gentlemen. They're like, Chicky, wake up. What are you doing battling these people? They're low lives. And they said to me, they called me this weekend. They're like, Chicky, what a joke. What are you guys doing in Western Mass? They go, listen, guys from New York told me, Lee, they drive to Boston and they go the long way through Providence. They won't even come through Western Mass. That's how embarrassed they are of us.
Okay, once again, Chicky, you're 100% that this man went out, got a 15-year-old girl pregnant, married her, then went after the 17-year-old sister. He also had two, at the same time, he had two strippers that were pregnant, and he had all these children popping around.
And he don't even buy wipes. Wipes that you wipe the baby's ass? Okay.
And he would not take care of them. And he used that as the reason that he snitched on his best friends. So pretty much he's a total fraud, isn't he?
Well, you know what? It's just a matter of people realizing that. Was he a mob boss? Absolutely. Was he the real deal? Is he a millionaire? Absolutely. But all this other bullshit, if I'm a nobody and I'm just a phone guy and I'm a piece of garbage, like he tells everybody, a heroin addict, a rat, never in the military, why is he so hard going at me? If I'm a nobody, he shouldn't even respond to me.
Where do you hope to take this from this point, Chicky? I mean, he's going to come at you, Chicky. He's going to come at you more because
that's fine. You're
on this show, and this show is going to get plenty of play. I'll guarantee you.
No problem.
And so he's going to see this, and he's going to be. Any normal man would be mad for being called a pedophile. But the fact of the matter is,
unindicted pedophile.
Yes, it's the evidence is there. If you're 22, 23, and the girl's 14, 15, or even 16, yeah, you're a pedophile. So you pick it up from there, Chicky.
No, I'm just going to say from here on, and I said it before, but this is it. To be honest with you, Lee, I got a lot of great things going with good people. I'm not going to mention names. I got great things going. They're reaching out to me on a daily basis like, Chicky, you got good things going. Wake up, bro. What are you doing with these people? And they're right. And I fell for this many times, Lee. And I go, listen, I'll never go against Angel. She's a great mom, a great grandmother. I'm not trying to build her up. I'm just being honest. It's like me. I'm a great father, a great grandfather, no. And it is what it is. These people don't even talk to their kids. So after this show, and I'm telling you, this is the last show, Lee, he can come at me. He can call me anything he wants. He can show videos. He can show pictures. Whatever he wants to do, he can do. But one thing I will guarantee is this December or January, when my movie comes out in the screen, get popcorn, get soda, and get Juju Freaks, and you can watch me on the screen, because after this, I'm not responding to this low life. Do yourself a favor, Mr. Anthony, Mini Guinea Bob Boss. Take care of your kids before you come after me.
And do you take care of your kids, Chicky?
I took care of my kids my whole life. I had custody of my kids 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and I still paid the mother $700 a month child support, and I had custody. And she had them Saturday and Sunday, and I'm not disrespecting her. She's a great mom. We're best friends. We had coffee yesterday. She's a sweetheart of a girl. But the bottom line is money didn't matter to me, Lee. Me being with my kids mattered to me. That's why I go over my daughters twice a week. The federal probation lets me go. My grandkids run to me. My daughters kiss me. My daughters' husbands adore me. that means more to me than any of this YouTube bullshit, especially this kid that don't even buy wipes to wipe the kid's tears off their face. So after today, it's done. I've done everything I possibly can do to prove myself. The other side will never let me be a normal person. They're going to make up crazy shit about me. But trust me, Lee, and I'm going to say this. Anybody in FBS's chat or anybody who supports FBS that has a daughter 16 or under, bro, wake up. Because if Anthony Arillotta was in the street in your city, he'd be banging your daughter.
No, he'll be attempting to. Let's not
Excuse
say
me.
okay, attempting. All girls are different, you know, and a lot of
No, I'm not saying that, but he would be a predator trying to grab her.
right, exactly. But this is what happens. You got older guys preying on these young girls that look up to these older guys.
Exactly.
And they know this. And this is in all cultures, on all parts of the street. Unfortunately, it goes on a lot. But it is what it is. I mean, if they can arrest school teachers for having sex with 16-year-olds, imagine this guy going after 14, 15-year-old girls as a grown man.
Lee, can I just say something?
Yes.
She's 45, and I'm not going to mention her name because she is a sweetheart, and you can't blame her. She's married to a good guy now. She's 45, tops 46 right now, okay? They have a 29, 30-year-old son. Figure it out. It don't take brain surgery. She got married in the summer of 93. It's 2022. It's almost 30 years in another few months.
That says a lot. And those are the things that...
Do your calculations on your computer.
So would you say that he's a good father?
You know what? He could talk all he wants about me. I wish I could say at least. And like I told you before, Lee, it's not about an informant. There's informants that inform. I don't agree with it, but I was never in that predicament. I was never facing life, thank God. But, you know, I was never facing life. I know what I would do in my head, but you're not in that predicament. But the bottom line is, Lee, it's not about being an informant. There's informants, okay? And let me mention a name, and I know people are going to get mad at me. I don't care. Jimmy Calandra. He's a good father. I don't know about his wife or girlfriend. I don't know who it is, but he's a good father. Bill Cutullo, and these are guys that are on the other side that are going to go against me. Bill Cutullo, good father, a great husband. Just give the credit where credit's due. So it's not the informant part that I don't like. I disagree with it, but it's not that I don't like it. It's being a low-life father that don't even talk to your kids that I disagree with.
Well, I'm more along the lines that I don't like the fact he's a rat because he put guys away that he sent out to do stuff. He sent these guys out to kill. And these guys were men when they went to prison, and they did not want to rat on the boss. But then he makes a bullshit story. Okay, then these guys did not want to rat on him, but yet he was willing to rat on the guys that he sent. And you have these guys sitting in prison cells telling people to leave them alone, that they were not going to rat the boss out. So the boss returned his favor by ratting them out. Now, Chicky, pick it up. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Lee. I just want to tell you, these are all facts. Also, go Google his name in the paper. They didn't just call him an informant. They called him one of the greatest informants who ever lived on the East Coast. So it's like being a rapist. You're not just a rapist. You're the best rapist ever. And I'm not saying he's a rapist, but you know what I'm trying to get at.
No. He preyed on 14, 15-year-old girls. You know, that's
unindicted child molestation.
That's called statutory rape also.
Exactly.
There's guys that are sitting in jail for years for that.
Yeah. And you know what the sad part about this whole thing is, Lee, if you let me say it? The sad part about it is, and I'm just being honest, in Springfield, Massachusetts, he has more friends than me. Now, what is 2022 the world come to? He just did an interview at our old social club over the weekend with Loomis and Tom Levecki, armchair NBA. Okay? Can you imagine Sammy the Bull doing an interview at the Reverendite or the Bergen Hunt and Fish Club if they were still open? It would never happen.
You had a great point there, Chicky. Okay, people, I'm going to tell you one thing. There's so much more we could talk about here. And the main reason we're doing this, because I heard a lot of things last night. I was confused. I got a hold of Chicky. I was saying, I hope Chicky has some good answers on this. I feel he had some very good answers. And I was very skeptical before our phone call last night, Chicky. I'll be totally honest with you.
No problem. I said I'm an open book.
And I'm not anymore. Would I have talked to those guys on the phone, text them? No. But, we all make mistakes in this mob tube thing. And you don't have a show. You coming into this show, you really do, you don't have to live by the rules that we have to live by in here. You're just an outsider. I'm going to get to another guy. Do you know Thin Gray Line?
I got to be honest with you, Lee, and I told you last night, I know you're mad at this, but Thin Gray Line lives a couple miles from me. He's known me my whole life. He knows guys that I'm on probation, so I'm not around him now, but he knows who got guys that like me. Okay. And I'm telling you, he gets a lot, and I know how many people are going to get mad at me, but he gets a lot of bad flack. But with me,
don't stick up for him, please.
I'm just telling you.
He's done a lot of negative things to me. He's not a nice guy.
No, I'm not saying with you. I'm saying with me. He's been nothing but a gentleman. I'm just saying. I'm not taking sides. I'm just giving you the truth.
You think he's been a gentleman. You don't know.
Right.
I thought he was being a gentleman with me too. And we're not saying his real name. We're saying his silly ass.
No, I know, but I'm just giving you. I'm a straight shooter.
Okay. Well, it seems like he keeps popping up in a lot of these conversations. That he's involved in a lot of these conversations. And it's people like him that keep this kind of stuff going. I'm just saying what I got to say on that. He might live a couple blocks from you, but everybody in this community, they know him. And he's not very well respected in this community because of the things he's done. And I'm sure he's going to hear that. I really don't care. That's just him. Is there anything you'd like to say before we close out this interview?
I just want to say, Lee, thank you for giving me a shot to come on and explain my story. Was I a mob boss? Absolutely not. Why is I a nothing? It is what it is. I was in all of Anthony's indictments. I went away to the U.S. Penitentiary, Canaan, for bookmaking, no violence. It's unheard of. I should have been at a camp. Was I in MCC Manhattan? 100%. Did I meet Vinny Basciano? 100%. Alex Rudai? 100%. So my life is my life, and he could tell his life. That's fine. Listen, more power to him. He's starting a YouTube channel. I salute to you. I guess on the YouTube channel, he's going to describe murders that he was involved in, which good for you. A lot of them still have family members out there. So I'm sure Gary Westerman's 16-year-old daughter is going to want to hear that. And Freddie's kids are going to want to hear. And Ty's kids are going to hear what their father did. So I hope your YouTube channel does well. Sleep well tonight, my old friend.
And what do those guys that are sitting in prison because of this man think about him now?
Well, if you listen to him, Freddie understands what he went through. That's what his bullshit story is. But, listen, I don't know. I talk to Freddie's cousin once a week. She talks to him once a month. Freddie's son talks to him once a month. He's been in the hole since 2018 in Hazleton, West Virginia. For, like I said, I hope they beat it. Allegedly the murder of Whitey Bulger, him and Paulie DiColangelo. And I hope they beat it. But Paulie only had 3-4 years to get out. And now he's facing a death penalty case, and so is Freddie. So it's a sad state of affairs.
And the reality is the reason they're sitting in that prison is because their boss ratted them out.
100%. And because they were solid. And what makes me sick to my stomach, and I'm going to be honest with you, Lee, I was closer to Anthony than anybody. We go back since 7, 8 years old in East Springfield, Six Corners. I was with him. I think I spent more Christmas Eves and Christmas with Anthony than I did my own family. But that's neither here or there. But to have this kid come on and just completely brutalize me, and I was a nothing, according to him. I was a nothing. I was a phone guy. I was a jerk off. I'm a junkie. I'm a rat. I never was in the military. He's got a pretty good heart on for me for being a nothing.
Well, you know something? Let me, Chicky, if he would rat on guys that were his really good friends, like the brothers, the East brothers, why are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. And you know what? Shame on me, Lee, because I get all worked up because I know who I am. And did in the past that I make mistakes, getting drinking or, whatever. Of course, everybody does. It is what it is. We're all jerk offs at one time. But what I got going now, it's so positive. I'm around good people. I'm not going to mention names. You know who I'm around. Guy's a gentleman. He's doing, as long as we do positive things, he's in our corner, and I appreciate him. And it's a lot of jealousy. I really believe it's a lot of jealousy. So let them keep doing their shows, FBS, Tom Levesque, for free. And then come December, when they're in a movie theater with their 15-year-old girlfriend, they can eat popcorn and jujubes and look at me on the screen.
Well, I wish you the best when it comes to that. But I like to say one thing. I appreciate you coming here because I know.
Anytime, Lee. Thank you.
I know it's just so to give you an idea. This creep, Anthony Arillotta. Anthony, I know you're going to see this. I want to mention something to you. You mentioned two things about me yesterday. You said I'm a lifetime pill popper. No, I don't take drugs, man. I'm clean right now, 100%. And also, you said I kidnapped a woman in Walmart. Read the article. Stop listening to these people. See, Anthony Arillotta, I'm going to tell you something. You might think you're in the mafia and stuff, but when you come after content makers on here and say things about them, you're going to get it back 10 times harder. This is the new form of the mob, and you're in it right now. So if you're going to attack people, you're going to get attacked back. No one's scared of you. You're a rat. You preyed on young girls. There's nothing special about you whatsoever. Out of all the rats I know on here, you're the most treacherous. And on top of that, the things that you have done, you should be ashamed of. You should show some remorse. You put your friends in jail. You preyed on young women. And now you're attacking Chicky, and you're making up a lot of false stories about him. Chicky, let me close out one more. I got to ask you one more question.
Anything, Lee.
The scar in your head. He said that you were basically a stumbling high and you fell and hit your head on a pole.
No, I got a scar in my head like 20 inches long. I was a car accident in 2008. I was in a car accident in the winter.
Show us your head.
The scar in my head wasn't from the military. It's right here. It goes from about a half an inch from my eye up to my forehead and then all the way back to the back of my head. They said it was like 1,000 stitches, something like that. I was driving in the winter on 291, which is our highway in Springfield, and I was getting off the exit, and it was slippery, and somebody banged me from behind, and I went into a pole. And when I slid across the seat of my car, I was by myself. On the crossbar, I smashed my head and split my head wide open. I shouldn't probably even be alive today. Like I said, I got a stitch.
You reaching in the back seat trying to get a piece of pizza?
Yeah, I remember that years ago. Yeah. They said I was eating pizza when I crashed, because I'm a little heavy.
You tried to reach
make up whatever they got. It is funny. I laughed. I heard that a long time ago. I laughed. They said I was getting
high. They said you were high and you were reaching back to get a slice of pizza and you ran out the road. That's very true.
That's funny. No, I know. That's what they said. I heard it years ago, and I used to laugh like funny, but this is the sick weirdos. They should not worry about me being high, which I never was, and getting a slice of pizza. They should worry about banging 15-year-olds.
Okay, well, that's a good way to end this. People, this is more a show about predators than it is about gangsters, because, you might hear about gangsters that have second families, but very rarely do you hear about guys at the level of Arillotta going out looking for little girls. With that, Chicky, I'm going to say thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lee. I appreciate it.
You don't have to go nowhere. I'm just going to end the show, and I'll talk to you in the back room.
You got it.
Chicky, I want to ask you one other thing.
Yeah.
To people that think that, I cut you off a few times before we started this show, we had the conversation about this, right, Chicky? And you said...
And I went against everything you said.
Yeah. No, you did very good. But you said, if I start talking over your question...
Cut me off.
Cut me off. So people, that's just Chicky told me that's what to do. And there's just certain people when you interview them, everybody's different. You got to have, my main goal was to get you on here, Chicky, to put out the facts, and we'll see where everything lays now.
I hope I did do that, and I'm sorry. Like I said, I tried to do my best, but I'm a little excited once in a while. But thank you for being an honorable content creator.
Yeah, and well, it's just sad because this guy is not just your normal person. This guy was a head of a family, and
the boss.
To be on here running around with lower level shows, and that would include mine too. is silly. You're not supposed to be doing this. You know,
He's definitely at the level of, he's higher than Mike Franchise,
yes,
and he's definitely higher than what's his name? Leonardo, whatever his name is, Mikey
yeah.
Scott.
And they don't do that.
No.
Nope.
And if I was a nobody, you know, I'm a nobody. I'm a junkie. I'm a rat. Why would he even entertain me if I was a nobody?
Well, it gives you an idea why the New England mob was in such trouble, because guys of this character were running it.
100%.
Okay, Chicky, people, please hit the like. If you want to donate to the video. I appreciate it. Hit the like. That's the most important thing. Chicky, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Lee. I appreciate it. And thank you to the people who watch this. I appreciate it. It means a lot. And
so now we'll put this out and see what the counter reaction is. And I don't want to hear no remarks about me cutting off Chicky, okay?
That's my fault. That's my fault.
No, it's nobody's fault. It just happens. Take care, my man. I'm going to end this right now.